This is a tough question. Sydney's a world-class city. What do you think are the opportunities for Sydney from an urban design point of view?
I'll start initially with the CBD of Sydney, because that's one that's more manageable and it's clear as to see what its issues are. The urban design opportunities in the CBD of Sydney is to manage and tame the traffic. The city streets are not particularly pleasant places to walk. The footpaths are congested. The traffic actually takes priority. It's not actually even good once you're in a car because it's simply congested. So we've got some real circulation problems about this city, and handing the priority to the motor vehicle is not the solution. That hasn't worked in the past, and I can't see that ever working in the future. So we have to step back and do things quite differently in terms of the way we manage the movement around the CBD of Sydney. Other parts of the metropolitan area are our urban centres, our regional centres, such as Parramatta, Gosford, Newcastle. They have some fantastic opportunities associated with them. Building more tall buildings is not necessarily going to maximise those opportunities. And I know that we have some regional strategies which have greatly increased the floor space ratios that are allowable in those places, often to the detriment of encouraging development and investment. Because sometimes if there's too much floor space and if there's no demand, local demand for that floor space, all we're effectively doing is increasing the price of the land without actually providing a market which can actually take up the space which is possible. So those towns, the opportunities associated with the development or redevelopment of the Newcastle, Wollongong and Parramatta and Liverpool, and there's a number of others as well, is how do we actually appreciate the character of those places and how those characters are quite different one from the other, and develop them as unique cities in a way which actually has a range of heights, not assuming that a regional or a major centre has to have 20, 30-storey buildings. They don't. But how do we respond to what makes them special places so that people come to live there and work there? That's a real opportunity for New South Wales, and we haven't actually solved that problem yet. And some of the strategies that have been put in place, I'm not sure, head in that direction.
And I think Rob Adams shares your view about tall buildings. You know, he sort of mentioned some of the limitations in terms of how many builders can actually build tall buildings, and then, you know, it almost sucks a lot of energy away from the street. There's only so much market. Sorry to interrupt. There's only so much market in a place like Gosford, and one of the problems in Gosford, it actually has some fantastic attributes, but they've made some very unfortunate mistakes. One, they've got a beautiful waterfront on which they've located their major sporting stadium. Now the sporting stadium, everyone is inward looking, and between the sporting stadium and the water is a freeway. That's actually an unfortunate move, and it's in recent history that they made that move. And the other thing is that they have approved the redevelopment of out-of-town shopping centres at a huge scale, which has drained investment from the CBD. So how you actually address those, it's not going to just be by sort of saying, okay, now you can build a 20-storey building in Gosford. If there's no tenant, no one's going to move in.